Dietrich Danzig by John Pisano-Thomsen. Fade in. Interior, a townhouse, Cabbagetown, Toronto. Day, August 2011. In the bedroom, an alarm clock goes off and an elderly hand hits the off button. Elderly feet come over the side of the bed and enter the bathroom. Super, Toronto, August 2011. In the hallway outside the bedroom, a toilet flushes and the elderly feet descend stairs leading into the living room. In the living room, the television is turned on remotely. A newscast appears on the screen. An elderly silhouette enters the kitchen. In the kitchen, elderly hands open a cupboard, grab a cup, and pour hot coffee into it.
The financial devastation of this storm may be measured in the millions, if not billions of dollars, but there is no way to measure the tears and heartache it has brought to this part of the region. This is Rory Edwards reporting for CBC News in Havana. Back to you, Vivian.
Thank you, Rory. And now for our final story of the morning. The man believed to be the last survivor to wear the pink triangle, the emblem sewn onto the striped uniforms of thousands of homosexuals sent to Nazi concentration camps, most of them to their deaths, died Wednesday in Alsace, France.
The elderly hands put down the coffee carafe and cup. In the living room, the elderly silhouette enters and watches the television.
Rudolf Brazda's death was confirmed today by the Lesbian and Gay Federation of Germany. Mr. Brazda was interred in the German Buchenwald camp for 3 years until he was liberated by American forces in April 1945. More from Daniel Prefontaine in Paris.
Mr. Brazda, a survivor of the Buchenwald concentration camp, waited more than 6 decades to tell his story. He came forward in 2008 after hearing about the dedication of a memorial in Berlin to honor pink triangle prisoners. Homosexuals deported to concentration camps where they were branded with pink triangles just as Jews were branded with yellow stars of David. Before Mr. Brazda emerged, activists thought the last of those survivors had died. And according to numerous sources, the 98-year-old Brazda was very likely the last victim and witness of the Nazis' persecution of homosexuals. It will now be the task of historians to ensure that this tragedy is never forgotten. For CBC in Paris, this is Daniel Prefontaine reporting.
And that's the morning news for today, August 5th, 2011. Tune in tomorrow when we'll be doing a special segment on
The television is turned off. Interior, the offices of the U.S. Holocaust Museum, Washington, D.C., later. In a hallway, Dr. Dietrich Bitten, a man in his mid-40s and donning a light beard, is speaking to a colleague in his Swiss accent. Emma, a granola-looking administrative assistant in her early 30s, approaches Bitten.
I think those photos should be scanned as soon as possible before they deteriorate any further.
Dr. Bitten?
Yes, Emma.
There's a phone call for you.
Could you please take a message and tell them I will call back as soon as I can?
I'm sorry, but I think you need to take this now.
Emma raises her eyebrows at Bitten.
Can we revisit this tomorrow?
Sure. In the meantime, we'll start the scanning.
Thanks.
Bitten and Emma travel down the hall.
Don't tell me it's Burnham wanting to cut our funding again.
No, there's an elderly man on the phone claiming that Rudy Brazda wasn't the last living pink triangle. He asked specifically for you.
At Bitten's office, the two arrive and Emma points to Bitten's blinking phone.
He's on line 2.
Bitten picks up the line.
Hello? Bitten here?
Good morning, Dr. Bitten. How lovely to hear your voice. Thank you for taking my call. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Dietrich Danzig.
Interior, the same Cabbagetown townhouse, day, weeks later, in the foyer. The doorbell rings. Zaki, an Arab man in his early 30s and in a thobe, answers the door to reveal Dr. Bitten.
Dr. Bitten?
Yes, hello. You must be Zaki.
Yes, sir. It is I. Please come in.
Bitten enters, followed by Emma and Pearce carrying video equipment. Pearce is a bleached blonde grunge type in his 20s with tattoos and piercings on his face and body.
Would you please remove your shoes?
Oh, certainly, not a problem.
What a beautiful home. Is there a particular place we should set up?
Yes, my lady. There is in the study.
In the study.
Mr. Ziggy has also laid out some artifacts over there for you. Can I get anyone anything to drink?
A glass of water would be nice. Emma? Pearce? Some water?
Emma and Pearce nod yes. Zaki leaves the room, and Ziggy, a jovial, white-haired, svelte 95-year-old man, enters.
Kein Berode wen, Dr. Bitten? Es ist bloß ein oder später anderswo in der Welt. Nichts wahr?
Herr Danzig, es ist mir ein Freude, Sie endlich zu treffen.
Bitten shakes Ziggy's hand.
Zaki, could you bring me a glass of Orvieto, please?
Yes, Mr. Ziggy.
I'm a bit nervous and would love to have something stronger, you know. But I don't want something too strong or else she'll be taping a snoring old queen. And you, my dear, who are you?
Emma Reginald.
Emma is one of my assistants.
Good God, look at the skin on you, Madchen. Like porcelain. Why are you working some uptight sociologist when you could be a model or an actress? Nothing personal, Barbara. Who is this strapping young man who fell into the peroxide and pins?
Oh, I'll be taping you today, Mr. Danzig. My name's Pearce.
Yes, I can see that. How many man-made holes you got there? Hot stuff, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
7. In a secret location.
Ah, I see. Prince Albert's back in town. Personally, I feel if you want to express yourself, get a paintbrush or take up a dance class. But please give the poor Johnson a break.
Zaki returns with drinks for everyone.
Your wine, Mr. Ziggy.
Thank you, Zaki. I see you've all met my caretaker, Zaki.
Yes, we have.
Zaki's originally from Dachau, Saudi Arabia. I found him in Montreal, afraid to return home. So I made a few calls to Amnesty International, MCC, and some immigration barristers, and ripped him from the claws of Sharia law.
Sharia law? Like, what's that?
Like, it's a Muslim law that decrees all gays must walk on air with a noose around their necks.
Yeah, but when you die.
Oh, yes, darling, you would die. It's what they call being hanged.
Don't you mean hung?
No, dear, hung is when you have a Johnson 7 inches or larger. Check your Oxford Dictionary. So, are we ready, Dr. DeMille?
Pearce? Emma? Are you ready?
I need a sound check first. Can you please speak for me, doctor?
Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
I'm good to go.
Hold on. Going over the playback.
Herr Danzig, before we begin, I'm curious as to why you have never come forward until now.
As you know, Doctor, for many years, those of us who survived never had a voice. Those pink triangles rescued out of their camps by the Allies are thrown back into prison if they explain why they were incarcerated. So after continually watching the discrimination and hatred go on decade after decade after decade, you get numb to the vaguest thought that anyone would ever give a shit about what you endured or that you even matter as a human being. Even when those old Queens Code, Seal, Crosden, and Beck came forward to tell their stories in the 1990s, I said to myself, it's been nearly 60 years since the liberation. No one gave a shit then, and why should they give a shit now?
So then, why did you call me?
Because people actually give a shit now. I'm finally seeing changes I never thought I'd see in my lifetime. So I finally decided to share my story for the ages so that all those snotty twinks tickling their butts down to the local discotheques can appreciate what they have today.
Ready to go, doctor.
Super. So, Herr Danzig, I would like you to...
Please, Doctor, call me Ziggy.
All right, Ziggy. Let's start with your full name, birth date, age, birthplace, family dynamics, and then simply let it flow from there. Ist das gut, mein Herr?
So good, Danke.
Just look into the camera
and begin talking. You'll get comfortable with it after a while.
My name is Dietrich Danzig. I was born in Berlin, Germany on February 9th, 1916.
Exterior, interior. The Danzig family row house, Schöneberg, Berlin. Night, April 1935. At the front of the row house.
My family lived in the district of Schöneberg, a lovely, well-to-do area full of many artists and creative types. It also happened to be a very gay area of Berlin.
In the dining room, a fit 19-year-old Dietrich Danzig eats at the dinner table with Andreas, his father, who is a World War I leg amputee in his 50s, Hansi, his mother in her 40s, and Katrina, his 17-year-old sister. Hansi brings food to the table and sits.
My father, Andreas, was a musician and conductor. He was also a World War veteran who lost one of his legs. My mother, Nancy, was a dance instructor. She was a professional ballerina before she got pregnant with me and my little sister, Katrina. She could have raised us both while continuing to perform, but she believed that a life in the spotlight and raising children was not a good mix. Eventually, she opened a dance school on Friedrichstrasse.
Where did she dance before taking on motherhood?
At the Berlin Staatsoper. She worked with the likes of Emil Grub, Antonetta Del Era, Isadora Duncan, and Anna Pavlova.
Katrina, how much younger is she?
2 years younger. Two of us were thick as thieves and adored one another.
Nice introduction, Ziggy. So, where would you like to begin?
Begin? Begin what?
Your story on how you became a pink triangle.
Oh, yes. Well, I suppose it's best to start with a surprise visit.
The doorbell rings. Hansi leaves the table to get the door.
It was April of 1935 and we were having dinner.